You ever find a chart that you just find terrifying? I realize not too many people look at charts for fun like I do, but I hang out on the Federal Reserve FRED database a lot, and I'm looking at different data series that the government collects. FRED's a great system, and they do a pretty good job. They collect these data streams from different departments, and they put them all into one easy-to-use database that does charting. So this chart that we're looking at is population with a disability 16 years and over. And 16 is the point at which the government considers somebody able to be gainfully employed, essentially. And that's why that distinction is made instead of at 18 years. It's multiplied by 1,000 because the number is in thousands. And so to get to the actual number, we got to multiply that out. So basically, what we have here is going back to '08, that it was at 27 million, and then over the 20 teens, it crept up. It was about 30 million-ish. And then starting here, coming from a low point in 2020, it's ramped all the way up to 34 million. And you might say, what happened then that changed this dynamic? Because it's a pretty significant slope change there as far as the rate of increase. And so that's a lot. So that's 4 million people that are now considered disabled. And I don't know how detailed they get into these disability statistics. I tried looking it up in the BLS, that's where this series comes from, but they didn't have a real good explanation. So something happened, something changed, and more people are being reported as being disabled since 2020. And that has a number of impacts. Whenever you have a total number compared to a population that is changing, it is important to look at the percentage rate. So I did that in this chart here, where I divided by the total population, and they don't have a 16 plus, so I gotta do 16 to 19, 20, 24, 25, 54, 55 and over. So on a percentage basis, it looks even more extreme as far as the rate of increase compared to the total population. You can see here that from '08, which is as far back as this data goes, unfortunately, from '08 to 2020, the percentage was pretty consistent. It's bouncing up and down, but it's in the 11.5 area. And then now we're up at 12.5%. So total population, you can see, is growing, but the rate is staying pretty consistent. And so what that tells us is that from 2020 to now, is something fundamentally different is happening. So that's worth thinking about. The other thing that gets me into thinking about this, though, is I look a lot at the Social Security reports. And I'm sure you've heard Social Security is running out of money. It absolutely is. And they have it into two different groups. So one is the old age, and then the other is the disability insurance side of things. So they're saying that the disability side has more life left in it under current funding rates by about 20 years. And what I don't know, and is worth looking into, is are they factoring in this change in the disability rates? Because if they're using data from back here, saying 11.5% of the population, well, that's going to be different. Because a full percentage point of a country of 300 plus million people is about 3-4 million people, which is what we see here. That's going to change the projections on the available funds for the disability insurance of the old age survivors disability insurance. That's what OASDI stands for. So if the disability numbers are wrong, then their projections are wrong. And that's puts the whole system under even more strain than they are saying. So these are things worth thinking about. And sometimes you just come across a terrifying chart. So the real answer, as far as dealing with this chart, is that you don't want to become dependent on Social Security as your main livelihood, whether it's through disability or through retirement. You want to build up your own assets. And the most efficient way to build up those assets is to take the things that you already are earning, take the money you're already earning, and structure that in a more efficient way so that you're able to keep more, save more, and invest more for yourself. And that way you won't be a burden on the system. And that way you'll not be subject to the whims of politicians and how they structure these entitlement programs. If you want to learn more about how we help people do all those things, come check out our weekly live streams, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, here on YouTube, and we'll answer your questions.